the quiet floors. I don't know why I went inside. The building had been empty for years. I passed it 100 times walking to and from the train, always keeping to the opposite side of the street, pretending not to notice the faded brick and blackened windows. It wasn't a ruin exactly. The city had sealed it up well enough to keep vandals out, but it had the stillness of something more than abandoned. Like the air in there had been forgotten too. That day, the front door was standing open. I didn't think about it, not really. Just crossed the street, stepped over the cracked concrete and put my hand on the door frame. The wood was cold, colder than air. Inside, the lobby smelled like dust and faintly of something wet. Not mildew exactly, but the metallic dampness of rainwater on stone. The floor tiles were still in place, their patterns dulled but intact. The mailboxes along the wall were all shut, except for one, hanging open like a slack jaw. Inside was a single envelope, unaddressed. I didn't touch it. The elevator was dead. The hall's half open to a black shaft. My reflection in the pushed metal looked stretched, like the surface was warped. The stairs were easier. I told myself I'd only go one flight just to look around. The first hallway was lined with apartment doors, each one painted the same shade of beige, numbers in tarnished brass. The air felt heavier here, as though I'd stepped into a room where someone had just been arguing. Some of the doors had scratches near the locks, as if someone had tried to get in or out. I walked slowly, listening to the faint creak of my own footsteps. At the far end was a window. The glass was dusty, but through it I could see another building across the alley, its windows black and empty. When I blinked, a few of those windows seemed to be open. I stepped back, and they were closed again. The second floor looked the same, but the hallway seemed longer. The pattern of scuffs on the floor repeated every dozen feet. The same chip in the tile, the same thin line of dust along the baseboard. Halfway down, one door stood slightly open. I hesitated, then pushed it. Inside was an apartment, but it was reversed. Kitchen on the wrong wall, bathroom where the bedroom should have been. Everything was stripped bare except for a single chair in the middle of the living room. It faced the window, where heavy curtains blocked most of the light. I stepped closer to the chair. The seat was warm. When I left, the hallway seemed shorter, as though the far end had drawn closer while I wasn't looking. The third floor had no numbers on the doors at all. Some of them were locked, but others opened onto spaces that didn't make sense. A closet that extended farther than the length of the building. A bathroom with no sink but 3 mirrors, each showing the room from a slightly different angle. One door opened to a hallway that looked identical to the one I was already in. I stepped inside, and when I turned back, the door was gone. I found another one eventually, but it led me to a stairwell going up, not down. The higher I went, the quieter it became. The air seemed to press against my skin, making each movement deliberate. My footsteps no longer echoed. On what I think was the 5th floor, every door stood open. The apartments were furnished now, but everything was covered in white sheets that swirled slightly, as if something underneath was breathing. I passed a room where the sheet over the bed had slumped to one side, revealing a dark stain in the center of the mattress. I didn't look too closely. At the far end of the hallway, I thought I saw someone standing, tall, thin, facing away. I blinked, and they were gone. The next stairwell was narrow, the walls closer together than before. When I reached the landing, there was only one door, my old apartment door. It was exact, the same scratches in the paint, same crooked peephole. My key wouldn't have fit, but I didn't need it. The door swung inward when I touched it. The inside was my apartment. Not exactly, but close. My furniture, my rug, my books on the shelf, but all of it older, worn, as if it'd been sitting there untouched for years. On the table was a mug of tea, steam curling slowly upward. I didn't touch it. Instead, I walked to the window. The view outside was long. Instead of the street, I saw a long, dim hallway lined with doors. At the far end was a figure, unmoving. When I turned back, the doorway to the hallway was gone. I pressed my hands to the wall where it had been, solid. The room was silent except for a faint sound in the pipes, like whispering through water. The mug of tea no longer steamed. I sat down without meaning to. The chair was comfortable, the kind that made you want to stay just a moment longer. Somewhere beyond the walls, slow, deliberate footsteps began to climb the stairs. They reached the landing outside. I could hear the shift of the weight, the faint creak of wood, and then stopped. The room felt smaller now, the corners closer. The rook's pattern seemed to curl inward, drawing the eye to the center. I don't know how long I stayed there. The light never changed. The air never moved. At some point, I stopped hearing the city outside. The only sound was the quiet pulse of the building, steady and patient. I think I could still leave if I wanted to. I just don't remember why I'd want to.